Say, darlings, two of the images that have most caught my heart, troubled my heart and mind and soul this week have had to do with ICE agents in Chicago. And one was the horrific raid on an apartment building in Chicago where ICE agents broke down doors and grabbed people out of their beds, children, families, citizens, perhaps non-citizens, and detained them, took them out barefoot, etc. This horrific violence and intimidation. And the second was a video that had, I want to say, a more hopeful ending to the video itself, which was that a man was dragged out of a car in the middle of the street in Chicago by one person wearing ICE gear and another in plain clothes. And they tried to detain the man, and he put up some resistance, but mostly the neighbors and shopkeepers came pouring out of their stores and their homes and started shouting and filming and saying, "Let him go," and "What are you doing?" and "Stop it," and all of that kind of thing. And eventually the ICE agents let him go, or the ICE agents retreated, got in their car, and drove away. So speaking up and resisting matters. And even that situation could have had a disastrously tragic ending. But in this case, it was hopeful. And it was a very, very hard video to watch, as all of this is. So, because the one thing that I feel like I know I can help to offer, the one thing I keep turning to is, you know how I've said, try to look for the resistors. Well, those resistors in the streets, for sure, but also for the artists and who are offering art and the voice of resistance and the voice of a different way of viewing the world and a way of seeing each other in our full humanity and calling us back to our kinship. So I Googled poetry of resistance, and I found this beautiful, beautiful poem by a poet who's new to me. I'm so excited to get to know this person. And a poem that comes from 2014, which is sad because it tells us how long this attack on our immigrant communities has been going on. And I've been part of that resistance, especially in San Jose. So I know this, but this voice feels really important to me. And here's the thing you need to know. The title of the poem is ICE Agents Storm My Porch by Maria Melendez Kelson. And you need to know that ICE, of course, is capitalized in the title of the poem, but so are the initial letters in the first line of the poem. And so when you read the poem, you can see that in this poem, ICE, ICE, stands for Indiscriminate Citizenry of Earth. I never retape these really, so here we go. Just here it is. Indiscriminate Citizenry of Earth. ICE, ICE, Indiscriminate Citizenry of Earth. So that's the ICE that's referred to in the title of the poem. ICE Agents Storm My Porch by Maria Melendez Kelson. The indiscriminate citizenry of Earth are out to arrest my sense of being a misfit. "Open up," they bellow, hands quiet before my door that's only wind and juniper needles anyway. "You can't do it," I squeak from inside. "You can't make me feel at home here in this time of siege for me and mine, mi raza." Legalized suspicion of my legitimacy is now a permanent resident in my gut. "Fruit of the prickly pear," they swear, striding up to my table to juice me a glass of pink nectar. They've brought welcome baskets stuffed with proof I'm earthling. From under a gingham cover, I tug a dark feather iridescing green, cohering to magpie thought, to memory's chatter, to mind, mine. And here they have my mind translated into a slate-surfaced pond, which vibrates in the shape of a cottonwood's autumn molt, which trees me to dirt, which soils me heat and freeze. But you'll always be one definitive document short, I complain. Doubts can forever outstrip your geologic, for which they produce a lock of my natal dust, bronzed to the fluttering fiber of lacebark pine. Where'd they get that stuff? The baskets are bottomless, and it's useless for me to insist on being distinct. Undergoing reportation, I'm awakened to a center where walls between all things are dreamt to dissolve. Let me read those last two verses again. Remember, the baskets are the baskets, the welcome baskets that the indiscriminate citizenry of Earth, ice, have brought to the door of pine needles of this person who's writing. The baskets, the welcome baskets, are bottomless, and it's useless for me to insist on being distinct. Undergoing reportation, I'm awakened to a center with a capital C. I'm awakened to a center where walls between all beings are dreamt to dissolve. Thank you, Maria Melendez Kelson. Thank you for this voice that reminds us of our kinship and reminds us of the welcome that we all have the power to extend to each other, the love in which we are all held, the way in which we are all seen as citizenry of Earth, co-habitants, co-conspirators in building beloved community. I hope this poem brings your heart some ease as it does mine. I love you. I'll see you soon.